I need black people to understand that gang culture is an infectious disease. So infectious and contagious that most of our top rappers have caught this infection after after achieving celebrity success, millions of dollars in wealth. Some of our rappers as big as Lil Wayne who are accused of going from Crip to Blood. Rappers who have their own label like Baby, who is accused of being Crip one day, Blood the next day, all in order to gain street credibility, in order to maintain their market in the music industry. This is the in-depthness that gang culture has become so contagious that people who are wealthily successful feel a need to connect to the inner city community by claiming gang culture. They feel a need to feel physically superior or physical strength through saying they have gang affiliations. This is how contagious gang culture is in the black community. Chris Brown, Soldier Boy, and Tupac, all just to name a few who have become gang members after becoming successful recording artists.
Hey, blood.
The gangs rule the streets. The streets are at war. The war must be stopped.
We want a uniformed presence out in the street. They're flying their colors. We're flying ours.
If I do something, I expect you to back me up.
My partner, McGavin. New partner.
You get them off the street.
Lady, we're trying.
Our community have kids out there who are dying over colors. I mean, actually dying over red or blue.
How old are you? 18. How old are you?
14.
Gang culture becoming a contagious, infectious disease was fueled by motion picture films and music. Understand that was elevated when Clinton signed the Telecom Act, allowing the consolidation of radio stations where we do not have a wide variety of rap music being promoted because you don't have a wide variety of black radio station owners no longer after the Telecom Act.
Traditionally, radio is where people have turned for information and entertainment. Over the years, technology has put radio in our homes, vehicles, and on our person. During the mid-90s, the Federal Communications Commission, along with the United States Congress, approved the Telecommunications Act of 1996, which allowed ownership of multiple media outlets by a single entity.
This law was passed and signed by Bill Clinton. What this did is it allowed the big conglomerates to buy up all the small black radio stations, took away your political voice, created iHeartRadio, which was live channel, which mainly promoted white wing, country western radio stations. And they was allowed to take over control of the radio waves and disseminate their perspective views onto the rest of the world. Like we have V100, V10, V107, all owned by iHeartRadio, and they control the message that is delivered and disseminated to the Black community. And if you listen to the music that they disseminate within the Black community, it is all disparaging to the Black community. That is by design. That is not what the music that we prefer to listen to. It is the music that is forced upon us. It is the music that is perpetually played and consistently embedded into your mind state when you cut on your radio. This is why you have an artist such as Future who makes a song about popping pills and doing drugs and then says he doesn't really do drugs in that manner. Know what you're up against, my people. So understand that this infectious disease has been fueled by white people promoting motion pictures such as Colors that exaggerates and glorifies gang culture, and promoting music that glamorizes and promote drug selling, drug use, and gang culture. Compound this with the political effects that Black people had to endure, such as the deindustrialization of your communities, on top of the school to prison pipeline where your children are cited for minor infractions, which prevents them from being able to receive their driver's license, which is economic castration, especially when you stay in a community where the jobs are all outside of your community, and the jobs that are in your community, such as Uber driving, Uber Eats, you have been limited from being able to do that as well. And come to think, and you got to think about it, they also took driver's ed in places like Milwaukee out of the regular school system. So when you compound these issues, you have people who are forced into impoverishment. That impoverishment forces them to prey on one another economically. This prey forces us to create cliques and groups that, in order to protect ourselves from us preying on one another, because the environment, the economic conditions we have been placed in created us into bottom feeders where we eat off of one another. And culture was so infectious and within our community, promoted by Hollywood and the music industry, to the point where it transformed Tupac from a revolutionary to a gang member within a 2-album process. We have to understand that gang culture was promoted and amongst our culture by Europeans and Hollywood, and understand why it was so infectious. Part 2 of this video, I will address the transformation of Tupac from a Black revolutionary nationalist to targeting and spitting blood literature on his last 2 albums. We will see how his Me Against the World album was his most successful commercial album, which spoke about negativities in our communities, versus his first album, Tupac-less Now, which addresses all the political elements that affects the Black community.